What's up, guys? Today I'm going to teach you the voodoo magic that is sus chords. Alright, first let me go ahead and introduce to you what sus chords sound like. They sound very churchy, very bigger than life. I don't know. I'll give you some song examples here in a second, but anyways, that's what they sound like. Now, I'm going to get a little bit nerdy on you, not too much. You don't actually need to know this stuff, but I just want to go ahead and throw it out there so you know what's happening. And if you do know some basic theory, this will help you understand how to do it and maybe figure out a bunch of other sus chords and other ways to do things. The value of theory is amazing when it comes to learning stuff like this. So anyways, there are two types of sus chords. There is a sus2 and a sus4. That's it. You're not going to see anything else, okay? If you see a song that says, if you're on like, Ultimate Guitar, and it says a sus, well, they are technically incorrect. They've got to identify whether it's a sus2 or a sus4. So what does all that stuff mean? Well, basically, you got to know what a major chord is. And we're going to use the key of A as an example. And I've got a little diagram below if you're on the website. If not, click my website just below and you're going to see this diagram of the A major scale. So in the first degree of the A major scale, it's the note of A. On the third degree, it's a C sharp, and on the fifth degree, we have the note of E. And that creates a major chord, an A major chord in this example. It's 1, 3, 5. Those three notes always create a major chord. In the key of A, it's A, C sharp, and E. You may have noticed I'm kind of going out of order over here. It's because it doesn't matter. I got A, E, C sharp, and E. And so that gives me an A major chord, or a 1, 3, 5. And you got as many of those 3s, 5s, 1s. As long as you have just those three, you've got an A major. Okay, and then if I want to take that and do something more interesting with it and make it a sus chord, I can do this. I can take my pinky off that C sharp, that was my second fret B string, and now I have an A sus2. Well, why? Because sus, which stands for suspended, I think should kind of mean substituted. This helps a lot of my students to kind of think of it in the proper way. So even though sus means suspended, think of it as meaning substituted. What I'm doing is I'm taking my 2, which if you look at your scale is the note of B, and I'm replacing it for my 3, which used to be a C sharp. And that creates an A sus2. That's a 1, 2, 5. That's what makes an A sus2. In this chord, it's a 1, which is an A, and then a 2, which is a B, and then a 5, which is always my E, right? And that's where you get A sus2 from. It sounds like that. And then you can go a step further and do the A sus4. And A sus4, you may can already guess, is a 1, 4, 5. Okay, because I'm substituting the 4 in for my 3. Take the 3 out, put the 4 in, boom, got a substitute, right? And so what we got here is instead of a 1, 5, 1, 3, 1 in my scale, if you're looking below, I'm going to go ahead and put my pinky up here on the 3rd fret B string. That gives me a 1, 5, 1, 4, 5. So I got 1, 4, 5. No 3, that's not a C sharp anymore. Now it's the note of D, which is my 4th in the A major scale. Okay, and so that is what an A sus4 is. 1, 4, 5, and it sounds just like that. That is an A, D, E. And we can take this a step further. If you look below the A major scale, I've written out the key of D. The key of D tells me that a major chord would be a D, F sharp, A. And we'll just kind of go through it here and you can fact check it yourself at home. But this note is a D, my root note. It's my 1. This next note's an A, it's my 5th. This next note's a D, it's my 1 again. And then that's my 3rd, that's my F sharp. Okay? So that's the one I've got to, change. Right now it's 1, 3, 5, but that 3rd has got to move if I want to create something else. So if I'm going to go in a D sus2, what's a D sus2? Boom, 1, 2, 5. That's going to be a D, an E, and an A. And that's what it sounds like. Very similar to the A sus2 in quality. You feel that? They all kind of have that same vibe, and that's a 1, 2, 5 at play. Okay? And so if I want to make it a D sus4, which is very common, I'll just play a regular D, keep everything there, and place my 4th finger on the high E string, 3rd fret, and that gives me the note of G, which is my 4th in the scale. It's a 1, 5, 1, 4. So D, G, and A give me a D sus4. And that's what sus4s sound like. Here's an A sus4, here's a D sus4. And they all kind of have this kind of floaty feeling, and that's what a sus chord is. If you ever hear that in a song, if it feels floaty or a little churchy or whatever, that's usually a sus chord at work. Okay, so now let's talk about how we can actually use these. I'm going to go ahead and give you just a few different song examples just for fun to show you exactly how these are used. In example 1, it's very obvious. It's kind of a rare song. I wouldn't say rare, but it's a big song, but it's not as common. You may not have heard it. It's called Take a Picture by Filter. And it goes like this. And that's pretty much the whole song. So why does that sound so cool and, again, kind of, it's got this kind of sus vibe, right? It's because he actually starts the song with an A sus2. I don't know if you can see that, but that's just 2 fingers on the board. That's an A sus2 and then A major. And he goes back and forth. Anchoring it though right here on an A sus2. And then he goes D sus4 to D. D sus4 to D. That's the whole song. And that's a good example. Go ahead and look that up and learn that one. It's a great example of getting good with sus chords. There's another song that you probably have heard of, and it is from the late and great Tom Petty, one of the greatest songwriters of all time, alive or dead in my opinion. This man was amazing, and he could do like a whole song with like 3 or 4 chords and make it sound amazing, and this is exactly what he did in Free Falling. So in Free Falling, and that's pretty much how you play that. A little capo involved to get in the right key, but essentially that's what you're doing in the chords. So for this song, he starts with a D major, and then he goes to a, you guessed it, D sus4. He plays that again, back to a D, and then to an A sus4. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but I've just changed my fingers around from there to there. It's still the same 3 notes. And that's how he created Free Fallin', which was an amazing song. It's all sus chords, the whole thing. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and give you one more example in Patience by Guns N' Roses. At the end of the verses, you'll hear Slash do this. And every artist does this whenever they're playing a D. It's really common to do all that kind of stuff, that noodling stuff. That's the sus stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play through it. I just kind of got to run through these. I'm not going to play the full thing. By the way, that was a sus. Sus4, A major, A sus2. And then he goes to this D. Right? So he's now using it to kind of tinker with his D. He's using the D as an anchor chord, and then he'll kind of do a pull off here with his pinky from a sus4, revealing the 3rd. And then he'll do this. He'll start with a D sus2 and hammer on with his middle finger to make a D. And that's a really common and amazing way to beef up your playing, especially if you're landing on a D. You can do the same thing for A. So you may be wondering, well, aren't there a bunch of other chords that we can do this with? Absolutely. But on the guitar, these are the big 2 because they're the easiest, I'm going to be honest with you. You can definitely do a C. C sus4. C sus2, things like that. Sit down and figure that stuff out, look at the theory, and run with it. And feel free to look up those songs. Leave me some suggestions, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's sus chords in a nutshell. Alright, thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed. Please subscribe, like, watch another video, tell me how you're feeling, leave a comment, say hello. Also check out my Patreon page down below, as well as my website. And just feel free to explore and take all the value that I'm throwing out there online anymore. Teach professionally all day, every day, so everything you're getting is trial tested again and again rigorously and very accurate and very high quality because that's all I do all day. Alright, anyways, thank you guys so much for your support.